Well, that was not a good start to the stream. You guys couldn't hear the music at all, I just realized. Could you guys hear any music? Oh my goodness, what a stupid start to this stream. Typically, as you guys know, I have some fun intro music. Could you guys hear that at all? I had my streaming software actually trying to pick up my speakers and my headset mic for whatever reason. And, yeah. So, yeah, I apologize for the super boring ass no music. That's the first time that's ever happened. The 6 minutes of nothingness that you guys sat there and had to endure? I apologize. And then when I tried to start talking on microphone, I realized that my streaming software was looking for a different microphone than I normally use. It's strange because I never changed these settings. I don't know why that happened. Anyway, welcome guys. Topic of conversation tonight is what's popping off on Twitter right now. That was so lame of me. I popping off on Twitter. What a fucking lame idiot. Yeah, just a bunch of news articles coming out from very reliable sources. You guys know me. I don't pay attention to the rumor mill because 99.999% of the time it's bullshit. But things like this tend to be true. You know, we've had a history of projects being announced. Certain people being involved in those projects being announced as well. And then maybe the people leave, or maybe the entire project is shelved, right? So it seems like Rogue Squadron is among one of those. It is the latest victim of what almost seems to be inevitable purge, right? So we'll talk about that. I'll read a couple articles. We'll shoot the shit. You guys know how these things go. What's up, Cole? How's the L5, man? You healing up all right? I hope you are. What's up, Sam, Boo, Popcorn, Jamers? What's up, Jamers? Sapity? Good to see everybody. Let's hang out. I was looking forward to Rogue Squadron movie. Grew up with N64 game. Yeah, me too, Cole. I was really looking forward to it. The little trailer teaser thing that Patty Jenkins put together in front of the X-Wing had me pretty pumped. I was looking forward to kind of, I don't know, a fighter, like a fighter pilot Star Wars movie. I think would be pretty rad, Unfortunately, it seems like that's not going to happen now. At least not the way it was announced. Who knows? Who knows? Let me read a quick little article. Let's see. Screen Rant. I believe Variety reported on it too. IGN. Every big reliable. This isn't just some random ass YouTuber. These are reliable, outlets who are usually. They usually have a pretty good batting average with this kind of stuff. Yahoo News says things are quickly shifting over at Lucasfilm with the Star Wars feature slate. Variety reports that Patty Jenkins' movies are officially shelved. All the news comes in advance of Star Wars Celebration being held back in April. I can't speak. Where more announcements about the franchise will break. Really, it's been wild to see the names come and go with promises of new installments in the Star Wars saga. That Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron is out entirely, isn't entirely surprising. In December, the Wonder Woman director shared on Twitter that she was still developing Rogue Squadron, but added, quote, "I don't know if it will happen or not," close quote. So now it looks like it's not officially, well, not officially, because these are not official statements, but another one bites the dust, I suppose, right? Anyway. Bummer. But it's not surprising, as this article says. Are you guys surprised? Like, why announce these projects so far in advance? Like, I understand they want to get people excited. I understand they want to keep poking interest. I understand they want to keep us on our toes and get us, pumped for things to come. But Star Wars fans, at least maybe of my generation, well, I don't know. In my view, and maybe this is my own personal viewpoint, as a Star Wars fan, I'm patient. You know, I grew up when there was no new Star Wars. I grew up when we had to wait 3 years between Star Wars movies. And now it's just boom, 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 constantly coming out. You know, maybe Star Wars fans are a little more patient than they think. You know, pump the brakes a little bit before you announce projects for them to inevitably burn off into the sun, right? Anyway, the French-Canadian Wolfman, thank you so much. And Swishfish, thank you both for the super chats. Wolfman says, Mando's got to have the biggest traps ever carrying Star Wars on his back like this. Oh, you think so? That's a funny statement. I would say that of Andor, in my opinion, Mr. Wolfman. You know, they're both fun shows. I like them for very different reasons. But for me, Andor just takes the cake. Andor, and again, this is just me, maybe some of you guys too, Andor is light years better, even than The Mandalorian. As fun and entertaining as The Mandalorian is, when the first season of Andor finished, I just like, I was blown away. I was blown away that we got something of that quality in a TV show in the Star Wars universe, you know. But yeah, that's a funny little joke there, Wolfman. Cheers, and I appreciate that channel support. Oh, you also said can't get worse than Universal's Dark Universe, though. Is that still a thing? Is that still a thing? What, they made The Mummy? What did they make? Is that still in production? Are they still making things? The Mummy, The Invisible Man, Renfeld, The Invisible Woman. Oh, it's in development. Okay, they're still making stuff. The Invisible Man. Oh, I did watch that. I did watch The Invisible Man. That wasn't too bad from what I remember. Like if I just wanted something dumb to watch. What we did watch that. I forgot about that. That wasn't too bad. I like Elizabeth Moss. That wasn't too bad. But yeah, I honestly, I didn't know that thing was still kind of in production. I didn't know they were still working on that stuff, Wolfman. I have zero desire to follow that universe or whatever you want to call it. Zero desire. But anyway, cheers, Wolfman. Good to see you. Been a while. Hope you're doing well, man. And Swish Fish, thank you so much as well. Swish Fish says, good evening. Too bad to hear about this. Female directors getting the can always sucks. Need more ladies on the big screen. I was really looking forward to see what Patty Jenkins brought to the Star Wars universe. You know, that little heartfelt teaser trailer, and you gotta feel bad for her, right? It seemed like she had a pretty big soft spot for this stuff. She had a pretty good passion, you know, going into this. I think she said her father was a fighter pilot or something like that. I can't really remember. So, you know, I'm sure she had some ideas that were emotionally connected to her going into this movie. And Swish, I really hate that it was shelved because it sounded like a pretty fun and maybe unique idea for a Star Wars movie, you know, a Star Wars movie basically solely about fighter pilots and that kind of stuff. Just sounded like a lot of fun to me. And I was 100% on board as soon as they announced it. And then, you know, over the years since they announced it, you kind of get a little cynical. You see other projects fall, get scrapped. You see people who are associated with projects leave. And you go, what the hell is going on? Oh, that thing sounded cool. Why is it going away? Why do you gotta announce things so early? just work on some stuff and then announce it, right? Work on some stuff, make sure you're doing the stuff, and then announce it. But anyway, Swish. And hopefully we'll get oh yeah, Kevin Feige's trilogy was canned too. Yep. I did see that. Hopefully, you know. Hopefully we get some announcements of new Star Wars movies at Celebration. I'm not really expecting anything like a lot of people are. What I would like to see more of is, yeah, it's cool to have like big directors, right? Like a Patty Jenkins or a Taika Waititi. It's cool to have them get their hands dirty in the sandbox of Star Wars, but I really like the idea of bringing in relatively obscure, lesser-known directors, taking some chances, doing some really unique and different stuff. That's kind of what they did with Rian Johnson in The Last Jedi, you know. I want, you know, anybody that wants to get their hands dirty with Star Wars, do it as a director, as a writer, you know. But I think the real uniqueness, the real magic comes in the form of maybe those lesser knowns who have some out of the box thinking, you know. But yeah, anyway, cheers. Oscar Rodriguez and Evans, thank you guys so much. Oscar Rodriguez says, Star Wars is the boy who cried wolf, but I ain't surprised. Yeah, I don't think anybody is really surprised by this, Oscar. You know, as we know, Patty Jenkins, like 4 or 5 months ago, said she wasn't even sure if the thing was happening anymore. So, you know, when somebody says something like that, you know that the trajectory is going right into the ground, and it's probably not going to happen, you know. And there's already like a giant negative bubble over the future of a project. That's not a good sign, right? So, but even before that, you know, you kind of cross your fingers and hope at this point that whatever project is announced that sounded cool to you is actually going to happen. Because for whatever reason, they have a tendency to announce things way in advance before they seemingly even have like the ducks in a row, which probably isn't the best idea, right? To continuously announce these things just to have them kind of fall to the wayside. But anyway, cheers, Oscar. I appreciate it. And Evans Media, thank you so much as well. Evan said, I saw Creed 3 over the weekend and loved it. Sadly, I'm sick now. Skipped school today and binged Big Bang Theory. Hype for Mando to liven things up. I've never seen any of the Creed movies. The only Rocky movie that I've ever seen is the very first Rocky. That's the only Rocky movie I've ever seen. I don't even know how many. Did they make 4 or 5? How many Rocky movies are there? How many Rocky movies are there? Oh, they made more than that. 1, 2. They made 6. I had no idea. Yeah, the only one that I've ever seen is the first one, and I've never seen any of the Creed movies. Yeah, they got great reviews. They have fantastic reviews. But for whatever reason, I've never checked them out. I don't know if it's just the subject matter doesn't interest me all that much. But I'm sure I'd like it if I sat down and watched them, you know. The first Rocky's great. I think maybe the first Rocky, you know, the first Rocky isn't all boxing. It's not all... I don't know. I liked it. It's been so long since I've seen it. It's been probably 16 years. I can remember when I watched it last. Yeah, it's been about 16, 17 years. But yeah, Evans, I don't understand. And I'm glad you like it. I'm glad. Like, this is not a diss. This is not a put down. I'm glad you like this. This goes to anybody who likes this show. I don't understand the appeal of The Big Bang Theory. I've given it a shot. I've watched a couple episodes. I don't even crack a goddamn smile. To me, it's just not. I don't know. It's not funny. It's not funny. But I'm glad you like it, man. And it feels, yeah. Oh yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Tomorrow's Mando Day. Yeah, it comes out on Wednesday, right? Yeah, okay. Last of Us comes out on Sundays. Mando comes out on Wednesdays. That's right. So, yeah, it's nice to have something to look forward to. You know. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. But I appreciate that, Evans. I hope you start feeling better, man. I feel like everybody that I know is a little under the weather right now. Everybody's got a little bit of the crud. Like, everybody at the fire station is just hacking and coughing. Luckily, I haven't caught it yet. I'm sure I will. We're going out of town. We got a cabin rented from like Friday to next week. And I know with my luck, it's going to hit me like Friday morning and I'm just going to get sick. And I'm going to be sick for this whole damn trip. But yeah, I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. No, I've never played The Last of Us game. Well, I take that back. I played about 3 hours of The Last of Us game. That's it. I had my PlayStation 3 for a little bit. I sold it shortly after I got The Last of Us game. So, yeah. Oh, Klausu, thank you. Cloud. Why is that so hard for me to say? Maybe I'm mispronouncing it. I appreciate the channel support. Klausu says, investors want to announce early for hype, ? Yeah, I'm sure there's strategic times when things are announced, right? Right before some big investor meet. I don't know I don't know how business works. I don't know how money works. I don't know the inner workings of these things, nor do I care that much, but I'm sure there is some strategy involved for, you know, big announcements, big events, prior to some investor meeting or something like that, right? I'm there's no question in my mind that plays a role. That always plays a role in everything, right? Every business, every publicly traded company, announcing products or announcing projects, you know, to appease the investors and whatnot. But yeah, who knows? I don't know the inner workings, and again, nor do I care. But I'm sure that is the case, Klausu. I'm sure that maybe that's not all the case, but you know, I'm sure it is a factor. All right. Succession is my most anticipated show coming up soon. Yeah, we're all caught up on that, and I'm really looking forward to the fourth and final season. And I'm kind of glad that, you know, so many shows run themselves into the ground. You know, they overstay their welcome. I'm glad that they're not that I want it to end. You know, not like my heart doesn't want it to end because I thoroughly enjoy the show, and you know, I when it's on and streaming, I can't get enough of it. But my brain is like, good. 4 seasons and done. Keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it tight. You know, Succession, cheers. But yeah. Ricky Dicky Due to Crimes, thank you so much for the channel support. I greatly appreciate that. They give us updates on everything besides Rian Johnson's trilogy. I hope that is at least still happening. Yeah. It is interesting, right? maybe no news is good news, right, Ricky? Maybe not hearing about anything is a good sign. Occasionally Ryan Johnson will speak up and say something about it, and even Kathleen Kennedy and other people will talk about it too and say that it's not an issue of like if they want it to happen. It's just it's an issue with scheduling and all that stuff. And those statements you kind of got to take on face value, right? Ryan Johnson's been involved in a lot of different projects, a wide variety of things as of late. He's probably not in any rush to jump back in. I'm sure he wants to, as he said. He said he would be sad if he was done playing in that sandbox, So, you kind of take if you take the statements. But for example, of like Patty Jenkins back in December when she said she doesn't even know if Rogue Squadron's happening anymore. If you take that at face value and you kind of take that on board and take that to heart, then you kind of got to take those statements to heart too, right? So I'd be surprised if it gets shelved. I'd be surprised if it never happens. I just think the question is when, right? The question is when. Oh yeah, he's making the third Knives Out movie for Netflix. That's true. He's a busy guy. He'll do it eventually, right? Oh man, I got off shift this morning and got home and. Like I said, we're going out of town for 5 days, so I was doing a bunch of laundry, just doing stuff around the house, preparing to go out of town, packing up, and mowing the lawn and making sure everything was squared away. So that was my day. And now I'm sitting here with you fine folks, sipping on a little bit of honey whiskey that my wife got me. She stopped at ABC to stock up for our cabin trip. ABC, for those of you who might not be from the United States, is a liquor store. I believe it's nationwide. And, yeah, it's tasty. It's tasty. Yeah, I'm just... The Knives Out movies, I watched them, and they're fine. They don't have like the staying power for me that a lot of people like. I didn't love them and gush over them like a lot of people did. They're fun, they're fine, but after I watched them, I kind of forgot about them, to tell you the truth. But yeah, I really enjoyed The Menu. We watched that a couple months ago. I feel like the last movie that we watched was All Quiet on the Western Front on Netflix. Dude. That is heavy. That is a heavy movie. And it was great. If you guys haven't watched that yet, you got to mentally prepare to go into it. It's great. It's fantastic. So well done. The Dundee. Nice, Sappity. I'm going to look that up. The Dundee. Is that Scotch, I'm assuming? The Dundee. Not the Dundee Hotel. Let's see. Scotch. Whiskey. Okay. Scotch. Angus Dundee. The Dundee. I don't recognize the bottle. Okay. I drink Scotch too, just because my dad, literally the only alcohol he drinks is Scotch. He doesn't like beer, doesn't like anything else. He just drinks Scotch. So like that's why I drink it as well. But I prefer bourbon or whiskey over Scotch, but we always have a bottle. Nothing crazy, just some Cuddy Sark, some cheap stuff. Jesus Perez, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. Hey HG, you think the franchise would have been better as a whole if WB had the rights instead of Disney? Warner Brothers? No, I don't think so. I mean, I can't think of I mean, George Lucas couldn't think of a better studio to hand it over to either than Disney. I can't imagine WB having it. They kind of, Disney and Star Wars have always kind of had a minor partnership over the years, even with Star Tours, even with like Star Wars weekends that they used to have. You know, there's always been a relationship there. So I think there was never any question who, if it was to be sold, who it would be sold to, you know. But no, I don't think the franchise would be in any better or worse place. I don't think the franchise is in a bad place. You know, I've always said, I'm not one to kind of exaggerate. I'm not one to kind of throw up my hands in a fit of nerd rage over things that I dislike in this era. I've always said that, like, right now, Star Wars is kind of how it was for me in 99, 2005, you know. There's Star Wars that I like, and there's Star Wars that I don't like. And the same was true back then. You know, there were Star Wars that I liked, and there were Star Wars that I disliked. So really, when I kind of put my mind in that frame, not much has changed, you know. There's a lot of stuff that they've done that I thoroughly enjoy, and there's a lot of stuff that they've done that I just discard and don't really care for, which is fine. Because again, I go back to that same mentality that I had back in the day. Oh, there's Star Wars that I like and there's Star Wars that I dislike. It's always going to be that way, right? But no, I think they are good custodians of the franchise. They've made stuff that I dislike, but overall, I think they're moving in a fine direction. Yeah, I don't know. That's just me. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other YouTubers who would disagree, right? That always rant and rave about inconsequential entertainment bullshit. But they rant and rave about everything and anything, right? You got to get that ad revenue. But I appreciate that, Mr. Perez. Yeah, Sapity, we've been, well, my wife has always gotten me, like, every year on Christmas and my birthday, she gets me a bottle of, Knob Creek maple whiskey. And, that's kind of my go-to. It's so good. Knob Creek maple, if you've never had it, it's, you know, it's pretty damn good. But lately we've been making, well, she's been making, like martinis, like, lemon martinis, or I don't know what the other ones are called. She'll put some cranberry in them. And those things are so good. They're so smooth and so dangerous. But yeah, she'll squeeze like 15 lemons. I'll put my daughter to bed, and she'll have like 15 lemons squeezed, and she's making lemon martinis. It's good stuff, man. Have you had High West? Oh, is this stream just turning into a whiskey stream? I'm not complaining. High West whiskey, Cole. I've never heard of it. So like, I'm not one to. I don't know a lot of brands. I just, you know, buy whatever honestly is on sale, or whatever's cheap, right? Whatever's cheap. Let's see. High West bourbon whiskey. Oops. There we go. I've never heard of it. So yeah, I don't get into the nitty gritty of brands, or I'm not picky. I don't have a favorite, you know. But I'll keep this in mind. I'll take a peek next time at the store. Yeah, Nell says, as with most Star Wars projects, the moment they get delayed or shelved, you might as well forget about them. Yeah, it's you know, whenever something gets announced, even officially, you gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt now, right? I mean, over the past few years, really. Ever since like 2015, Michael Arndt, right? He was originally gonna write the Force Awakens, and then the I'm blanking on their names. The guys who were originally going to do Solo. Oh, Lord and Miller. You know, they were gone. And then various projects kind of get announced and then they get scrapped. So, you know, it's kind of a bummer that when something gets announced, my brain goes to, are they announcing this too early? You know, because the history of these announcements tends to crash and burn. But who said that? Francisco. The Acolyte. If we're talking about new projects, yes, season 2 of Andor is kind of at the tip top of my list right now. But the Acolyte, in terms of new projects that we haven't seen before, is the highest right now. Just because of kind of the mystery of it all, right? We don't know really anything about it. We don't know. It just boils down to, look, all the other Star Wars shows that have been announced focus on a character that we already know about, right? And those characters' names are in the titles of the show. You got Ahsoka, you got Boba Fett, you got Obi-Wan, you got Lando, if that's still happening. You got Andor. I feel like there's another one in there. But then you have the Acolyte. Well, what's the Acolyte? Oh, interesting. Something new. Something new. Anyway. Andrew Smith, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. Andrew says, looks like the near future of Star Wars is in TV, not film, which is fine with me, as I have loved everything they have made so far. Yes, even Boba. Nice, man. Yeah, it's it still feels weird. I'm not saying it's bad, but it still feels weird, Andrew. And I don't know if I'll ever get used to it, just because, I mean, this is the new normal. For a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of younger folks, this is the new normal. This is how Star Wars is, but I think it's always going to feel weird that we're constantly having Star Wars stuff being put out. On TV especially, right? Because, like, growing up, there was no new Star Wars, and then we had the prequels come out. You know, we had to wait for those, and then the long wait from 2005 to 2015 for new Star Wars movies, and like it was always like a long waiting game, a game of anticipation. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Nowadays, it's just different, right? And yeah, it's as long as they can keep the shows fresh and new, and they don't feel like they're constantly mulching over the same stuff, I'm on board. Like, I was getting a little burned out with Mandalorian, Boba Fett, those shows, even Obi-Wan, they all felt so similar to one another, even cinematically. They all just felt so similar to one another. And then you had Andor come along, and for me, it changed the game. It set the bar. So I hope the future of Star Wars TV is different from one another, if that makes sense. I hope it all doesn't start to feel like a big hodgepodge, a boiling soup of similarity, But yeah, the future of Star Wars definitely seems like it's in TV, just because, you know, we've had so many projects, and again, are they going to get canned too? Who knows? But we've had so many more projects announced for TV over film. Yeah, it's a whole new world, Andrew, and I'm on board. And you know, I think a lot of people need to get it in their mind that they're not unlike you. I'm glad you like everything. You know, there's going to be projects that people don't like. You're not going to like every single thing. At least most people probably won't like certain things, right? And that's fine. That's the nature of franchise installments, right? It's okay not to like things. And I think once you have that mentality, then I think the bitching and moaning kind of ceases, because you just go, I'll move on to the next thing. You know? But anyway, Andrew, cheers, man. I'm glad you dig it. I hope you dig it in the future as well. Sapity, thank you so much. Sapity says, Maple Whiskey sounds great. As for All Quiet on the Western Front, the 1979 version is, in my humble opinion, slightly superior to the Netflix version. I've never seen that one. Wasn't there one before that? Yeah, 1930s? Yeah. Have I seen this? Ernest Borgnine. I'm gonna have to watch this, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this. Sorry, guys. I'm watching I'm thumbing through a trailer. With no sound on.
Just rewatched Andor, and it does concern me that it will ruin all future Star Wars for me. It's so good that it kinda doesn't make sense. Someone had a vision for that series.
Vince, good to see you. Thank you so much. Give me one sec. Yeah, all right, Sapity. I'm gonna have to watch that sometime. I believe I've seen the 1930s version. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I have. Yeah, it looks familiar. Sorry, guys. I'm thumbing through Rotten Tomatoes and YouTube, looking at these different versions of All Quiet on the Western Front. But you've piqued my interest, Sapity. I thought the Netflix version was incredible and incredibly impactful. I'll have to check out the 79 version. And while I check that out, please check out some Knob Creek Maple Whiskey. But yeah, the All Quiet on the Western Front, the Netflix one that came out like last year. That is that's one that will just make you. It'll just make. I'm not gonna say it'll make you feel like shit, but it'll put a lot of thoughts in your head. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. Oscar, Vince, and AGR, Yes, I have seen 1917, Cole. It was fantastic. Oscar, Vince, and AGR, thank you so much. Oscar says, Screen Rant has it. The next Cloverfield movie may be about a virus. Hopefully, JJ learned from his mistakes on The Rise of Skywalker and TCP and gets Cloverfield back on track. What's TCP? Oh, the Cloverfield, what is it called? Paradox? Is that what it is? The Cloverfield... Yeah, Paradox. I've never seen... Did I see Cloverfield? Is that the one with John Goodman? Cloverfield. Is it? Yeah, it is. No, wait. Cloverfield. 10 Cloverfield Lane. Okay, I've never seen the first Cloverfield that came out in 2008. I've never seen that, but I did see 10 Cloverfield Lane. I don't know. Honestly, when I think of Cloverfield, I don't think of like a series or a franchise or a universe, but there are 3 films. And I guess it is. Interesting. Yeah, I remember liking 10 Cloverfield Lane, but not even thinking about it as a part, like an installment in the in some kind of like franchise or whatever. Get Cloverfield back on track. Was the first one any good? Is that the found footage movie? Is that what I'm thinking of? Oh, Lizzie Kaplan. I like her. Is it a found footage movie? Yeah, it is found footage. Okay. Well, that was weird. The candle just went out. Whenever I'm streaming, I always burn a candle. It just went out. Maybe did the wick fall into it? What the hell just happened? It did. I didn't realize the wick is like one of those floating wicks, and it just flipped right over and fell into the candle. Cool. Anyway, I appreciate that, Oscar. Maybe I'll catch up on Cloverfield. All right, Vince and AGR, thank you guys so much. Vince says, just rewatched Andor, and it does concern me that it will ruin all future Star Wars for me. It's so good that it kind of doesn't make sense. Someone had a vision for that series. Yeah, I was actually texting with my buddy yesterday, Vince, and I asked him if he started watching season 3 of The Mandalorian, and he said he's not in any rush to get to it. And I told him, because he loved Andor too. I told him, yeah, after Andor, it's going to be a little disappointing. But I'm with you, man. Like, I think that vision, that vision that was so obvious, that's why I have hope for the second season. It's not going to do what The Mandalorian did. It's not going to just kind of fall into familiar face territory, right? It's going to continue that vision. It's going to continue on the track that it was. I think it's going to stay the same. Keep the same quality. Keep the same tone. Keep the same, march. That's what gives me hope for the second season. The second and final season. That's also something that kind of gives me a little hope. I like when shows don't overstay their welcome. But I completely agree, Vince. The bar, in my opinion, has been set so high with Andor that everything else that I'm not worried, but I am worried, I guess, that I'm gonna judge every future thing by this, like, by this monolith, this kind of example of greatness, you know. I'll try not to, but it'll almost be impossible. Look, there's room for all sorts of different Star Wars, right? Tonally, there's room for the goofy, there's room for Andor. But when something kind of hits me in all the right spots, like Andor does, it kind of shows me what the franchise can do when it gets serious, when it, gets into the realm of, like, drama, political thriller, right? Then it just grabs me by the shoulders and sucks me in, and everything else, I get tunnel vision for it, you know. But yeah, I'm with you, Vince. We shall see, right? We shall see. We shall see. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. Cheers. Hope you're doing well. What is today? I was gonna say have a good weekend, but it's only fucking Tuesday. We're going out of town on Friday. We're hopping in the car when I get off shift, and then driving up to North Georgia. We got a cabin rented. We're gonna do some hiking. Me and my wife and my daughter. We're gonna do some hiking, and as of right now, it's supposed to rain the whole damn time, so we'll see. Yeah. Some hiking. I don't know what else we're really going to do. Just kind of, we got a nice cabin with a really good sunset view. And we'll probably there's a nice field out front, and we'll probably play out in the field and grill some burgers and just enjoy some time, you know, relaxation. Make some martinis, some mimosas, some Bloody Marys. It'd be nice. Anyway. AGR. Thank you so much, man. AGR says, what's up, HG? Mando Season 3 is great so far. I wonder if they'll ever make a series that takes place after the rise of Skywalker. There's no question in my mind that they eventually will. Whenever a new trilogy comes out, or whenever a story is told post, how do I put this? The territory after a trilogy is always highly unexplored, right? And eventually that era becomes a new era for them to play in. For like a sandbox opens up post trilogy for them to kind of mess with and tell stories in. So there's no question in my mind whether it's a series or a movie or a trilogy even. There's no question in my mind that it will eventually happen. We will have stories, post the rise of Skywalker. I would rather I kind of like the concept, and I don't know if this is like something that they've thought about or if it's what they do, but like I like the idea of, all right, so you have the rise of Skywalker, fine, episode 9, whatever, and then you don't make anything after that for a long time, and then you make a trilogy after that, and then you fill in the gaps between the sequel trilogy and the new trilogy with all the shows and the stories and stuff like that. And then after that trilogy comes out, 10 years later, maybe you make another trilogy. And then all the subsequent material that comes in between those two trilogies comes out. So I like the benchmark of like releasing a trilogy and then having the supplemental material in between those trilogies come out, like setting the benchmark. Boom, this is our new timeline point, and then I don't know, it's to me it just kind of makes it more fun, like a big to do in the movie theater, and then all the other material that comes out in between. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my brain. I don't know if that made sense coming out of my mouth. But anyway. Cheers, AGR. I appreciate that, man. And A3, thank you for coming in with the final super chat and channel support of the stream before I hop off. One sec. All right. A3 says, I think some of us are too in the weeds with projects now. I miss the days of seeing upcoming stuff in my CinemaScape magazine and just being excited. I completely agree. I think having your finger on the pulse of both fandom and maybe fandom is the right word, but constantly having your finger on the pulse of what's coming, constantly having your eyeballs on the news of your favorite franchise, trying to capture every little morsel of details and announcements and whatnot. It kind of, I mean, we're in a different world than we were 25 years ago, but it kind of makes it a little less exciting. Back in the day, not to sound like an old fuck, but back in the day, you might get an announcement and then you don't hear anything for a long time. Maybe you subscribe to, Star Wars Insider and you get a little tidbits here and there, interviews with people. But the material, the information wasn't at your fingertips constantly. I'm sure back in the day, there were so many projects that were being worked on that got canceled that we never even heard about, I'm sure that was the case. For whatever reason nowadays, they seem to announce everything and then it just kind of goes by the wayside after a couple years and then we never hear about it again. But yeah, A3, there was a little bit, it felt a little more magical and unique and anticipatory back in the day, not constantly having your finger on the pulse, not constantly being on Twitter looking for information, not constantly having your news feed be filled with Star Wars stuff, right? Kind of takes away the magic, the anticipation of things. And it was nice to have a little buffer, a little break, let your hands free a little bit as you just sit patiently and wait. And nowadays we just want more information, more news, more. Got to make those YouTube videos every day, every hour. We got to make it. Oh my God, a little nugget of nothing just came out about Star Wars. Oh, I got to report on that. Oh my goodness, I got to talk about it. I got to tweet about it. I don't know. It loses its luster for sure. But anyway, I appreciate that, A3. All right, guys, that's it for me. I'm tired, man. I don't know if you can hear my voice. The other day, I said I was going to watch E.T. after the stream. I never did. I fell asleep. Tonight, I was planning on doing that again. I don't know if that's going to happen. I might just go in the garage and work out a little bit and then fall asleep by 11. We'll see. Oh, I'm lame. It is my weekend, though. That's what's nice about this job. Every day you work is a weekend. I worked yesterday. I'm off today. I'm off tomorrow. I work Thursday. I'm off Friday. I'm off Saturday. Oh, and then I'm off Sunday, too, because I got vacation. Then I'm off Monday and Tuesday. Also, when you take a vacation day in the fire department, you're off for 5 days. It's pretty awesome. Pretty nice. You get like a total of like 2 months. Yeah, you get a lot of vacation time. It's great. Anyway, guys. All right. I'll probably do a stream tomorrow. I might do a daytime stream. We'll see. If not, if you don't see me during the day, I'll do another night stream like this. But maybe I'll play a little bit of Battlefront or something like that. Something different. Anyway, everybody who supported the channel, I appreciate the hell out of it. Everybody who hung out in the chat and shot the shit, thanks for hanging out, man. All right, have a fantastic rest of your morning, your afternoon, your evening, wherever you are on planet Earth, and I'll catch you on the flip side. See ya.